Hi everyone, your buddy Gilbert here. I hope you're doing well when you see this. I truly, truly do. Disclaimer right away, I'm going to keep this video positive. As you know, I'm a huge fan of both Mariah and Celine, and I even struggled with wondering if I should even do a video, but because I kind of became like the official Mariah and Celine should do a duet guy ever since my video went viral when I met Celine last year. Hi Celine, I'm Gilbert.
Hello, Gilbert.
I'm obsessed with you. Are you ever going to do a duet with Mariah Carey? Please tell me someday you will.
I would love to, and it's kind of weird that you asked me that question.
Really?
Because not too long ago, I'm working on an album.
Yeah.
And she was like, "There's things to do with me," so we got together and we're talking and chatting and all that.
Can you tell us? Did you sing together?
We did not. She was busy. I was busy.
I was like, I have to comment on this. As many of you know, Mariah Carey just released her memoirs in a book entitled The Meaning of Mariah Carey, now available on all digital, physical, and audible platforms. It's a huge time of celebration for us as Lambs, Mariah fans, because now we get to hear her finally speak out on so many events and just her entire story spanning over her entire life and career. Obviously, I downloaded the book immediately, and I am blown away by how vulnerable and honest she is about her life, growing up biracial, being around so much violence in the home, and allowing now her inner child to finally speak about all of this like she's never been able to before. However, not all the fans are as excited as I am about a certain particular section of the book. They are quite hurt and disappointed in Mariah and even angry with her for speaking negatively about a fellow diva that, even by Mariah's admission, never really did anything to her, and that's Celine Dion. I woke up to a bunch of text messages, people flooding my inbox on social media. Oh my gosh, Gilbert, are you okay? Did you see what Mariah Carey said about Celine Dion? She's being a bully. Celine doesn't deserve this. And I was just like blown away. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to figure out what's going on here, because my view is always that Mariah completely loves and respects Celine Dion. I've only ever seen positive things that she said about her.
You like Celine?
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, same record album, label?
No, she's on Epic. I'm on Columbia.
But I was told I was wrong, so we're just going to go right into it. I want to acknowledge it because I am literally devoting my life to making sure that they do a duet one day. So we are going to review it together. Let's get right into it.
Divas. Diva, noun. A distinguished and celebrated female singer. A woman of outstanding talent in the world of opera, usually soprano, and by extension in theater, cinema, and popular music. My definition of diva is the classic one. Aretha Franklin is my high bar and north star, a masterful musician and mind-bogglingly gifted singer. I listened to and learned from all of her. The first time I met Miss Franklin was at the Grammys, my first year, when I was nominated for 5 awards. What wrecked my nerves was not that I'd only been in the business for about 6 months and I was performing at the Grammys for millions of viewers on live TV and every big music star was in the audience. I was most concerned about the fact that I had to sing in front of her. The one who I thought was the one, Ms. Aretha Franklin. I had to sing Vision of Love with Aretha Franklin sitting in the front row. Many times I had visualized a dream of singing at big award shows, but I never imagined I would have to do so in front of my idol on my first go-round. I couldn't even sleep the night before.
You killed it, Mariah.
The day of rehearsal, I summoned the courage to go up to her. She was quietly sitting in the front row on the left-hand side. I knelt down by her seat because that's what one does in the presence. "Miss Franklin, my name is Mariah," I said. Humbly, I went on. "I just wanted to say thank you from all of the singers that you've inspired. Thank you. It's an honor to meet you."
First of all, that is how you honor someone that you look up to. And I love that she bowed, like, not bowed, but like kind of like she knelt down instead of like looking down at her. Like there's just a lot in body language. Like when you revere someone, when you're someone like Mariah Carey, who's out and starting in the 90s, and you do meet someone like Aretha Franklin, I can only imagine what that felt like for her. So this was a cool little moment. But I do think that she's establishing something here because of where she's going to go. So I understand.
Years later, she said to me, "Mariah, You've always had good manners, and that's the thing that most of these young girls are lacking. It's the manners. They don't have them. I couldn't imagine doing any less for someone who gave the world so much. Later, I totally scrutinized my performance at the Grammys that night.
Again, Mariah, you killed it. It was perfect. But I do like how she says that's the least that she could do because of what she's given to the world. I feel like she's really laying down the foundation. This is how you approach someone like Aretha Franklin. This is how you interact with someone like Aretha Franklin. I feel like that's kind of why she's telling the story this way. I mean, obviously, she wants to just let the world know how much she loves and reveres Aretha. But I feel like her putting in those little, that's what one does when you're in the presence. I was applauded for my manners in dealing with her. Like, I feel like there's purpose to that. You know what I mean?
My next great encounter with her was in 1998 when I was asked to perform for VH1 Divas live show, for which they were going to do an Aretha Franklin tribute. Of course I said yes, because it was Aretha.
So I watched the VH1 Divas live. I actually have it on DVD because I'm a stan, of course, of Mariah and Celine. They're my queens. And I remember when VH1 aired the show, they did a lot of like behind the scenes stuff. And they talked about how when they booked Aretha Franklin for the show, part of the management of Aretha was to make sure that she would be the main diva. It was supposed to be a show where everybody was coming together. They wanted it to be like this equal status thing, but Aretha's management made it very clear, no, Aretha will only do it if she's like the main diva. And when you're Aretha Franklin, you know, you deserve the praise. And absolutely VH1 was like, we will totally do that. Of course we will. She will be our example and she will be on the head of the crown or whatever. I remember that being like a thing because that was one of Aretha's conditions to join the show. This is really interesting to hear because I do remember that they booked Celine first. She was kind of the one that they decided would be the main one to get, and then all of the other divas were booked after her because My Heart Will Go On was like the #1 song in the entire universe at the time. They wanted to transition into something that would celebrate that as well as celebrating the other artists. So let's keep going.
And when you are summoned to pay homage to the Queen, you jump, jump, jump to it. The other diva singers selected for the show were Celine Dion, Shania Twain, Gloria Estefan, and Carole King because of her having written the amazing You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman, which Aretha loved and made a classic.
Another little discrepancy there. Carole King, who she just named, actually says that the reason that she was there didn't have anything to do with Aretha Franklin. It was actually because Celine invited her to be there. She was Celine Dion's special guest.
We did this first VH1 Divas show, and I was on the show as well. I was surprise diva, and only because Celine had asked me to join her for the show, and then they asked me to be one of the divas.
So it's interesting that Mariah would say that she was there because of Aretha, and she wrote that song, Natural Woman, when, by Carole's own account, it was because of Celine. Interesting.
When I arrived the day before the show for rehearsal, Aretha was giving the producer something he could feel. Ken told me that on several occasions, Aretha had said, Mariah's the only girl that I'll be singing with this evening, which is why I was the only one to do a duet with her on the show.
Okay, again, Mariah is planting these seeds that she's the only one that was planned to sing with Aretha Franklin. She's the only one that would be doing a duet with her officially, and that was by Aretha's own statement. It's funny to me because I do know that this is going to go somewhere because of the way that I was just blown up. And it's almost like I can see the sprinkles of points Mariah is trying to establish because of where she's about to go. I have to point that all out. She's a songwriter. Everything is with purpose. You foreshadow where you're going to go from beginning to end.
Temperatures were rising between Ken and Miss Franklin because the air conditioning was on, and she doesn't sing with air conditioning or outside in the freezing cold. When I arrived for our rehearsal, I was so excited and nervous. Aretha greeted me with, Mariah, they're playing games, and I'm not having the games, so we won't be rehearsing this evening. she said matter-of-factly. Wait, who the is playing games? I wanted to scream. This was the first time I was going to sing with arguably the greatest singer on the planet, my idol, and I couldn't get a rehearsal. Why couldn't they just turn the air off? I was dying. I humbly asked her if we could please do one of her songs. I didn't think my heart could take Aretha singing one of my songs on this occasion. I suggested Chain of Fools instead. Mercifully, she agreed. Show day came, and I was brought to her trailer, where she was sitting with a keyboard so we could go over the song together. We talked for a bit and worked on the song a little bit, but honestly, I felt like I was in a bit of a blackout because it was such an amazing and intimidating experience having that intimacy with her and the anticipation of performing with her with so little preparation and for her to trust that I would carry on.
You did.
The time for our first number in the show came. She told the audience that she and my newest girlfriend didn't get to rehearse, but she's going to come out and join me. The band began Chain of Fools, and I walked out on the stage. Her energy was so powerful, I just kept my focus on her and sang when she told me to sing, and we did the song. I ended with a bow and a, "All hail the Queen." How else do you exit a moment like that? And she gestured to me and said, "Miss Carey." That was enough for my soul.
Another example of that. How else do you exit a moment like that? She started telling the story, but again, she's establishing where she's going to go. That's how you exit a performance with Aretha Franklin when you're with the Queen. You see, she's establishing her perspective so that we are very clear how she's about to feel about what's about to happen.
At every tribute, there's always a big finale with a "We Are the World" moment when all the artists sing some big song together. We love everybody, but I don't love this part of the show ever. But here we go.
I do.
All the other divas were on the stage, set to go out with "You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman," a natural choice. Everyone knew her part, but we all knew that it was Aretha's song. Well, almost all of us knew. Look, if Aretha was going to riff or ad-lib anywhere, that was her prerogative as queen. But you do not take it as a challenge. One of the divas didn't understand the culture of the court and tried to come for the Queen a little bit during the song. It was fine. I wouldn't have ever done that. To quote Miss Franklin, something was askew.
I have to reply to this. You really just have to get the Divas Live DVD because there's some good gold nuggets here. There's a whole making of section with this DVD that you can read. It's the notes of the staff and the creators of the event that worked at VH1. Carole King was supposed to lead everybody in this song because Carole King wrote it. And even Aretha Franklin says, "I've never had the opportunity to sing this with the woman who wrote it, so it's very fitting that we all get to sing it tonight." And Carole King was supposed to lead everybody singing the song. She was supposed to start the song. Well, as she starts singing, Aretha Franklin just starts singing too. And instead of fighting her like, "This isn't what we rehearsed," Carole King is just kind of like, "Go ahead, you're the queen of soul. Of course you can start." And it's kind of impromptu. We're not going to do what we planned, but I'm not going to argue. You're Aretha Franklin. You can do whatever you want. And you do see that there's this moment where Aretha kind of acknowledges it because she just keeps going. And she turns to Carole because she's taking the next part too, which was supposed to be Carole's. And she says, "Thanks." She actually just says that. She goes, "Thanks." Like, yeah, I'm going to keep singing this part, even though this was supposed to be your part. And even when all of the other divas joined in to sing their parts, Aretha's still singing because she's Aretha Franklin. And I understand, that was the song that Aretha Franklin made famous. So I think everybody watching it was like, y'all, they probably rehearsed this differently, but let Aretha be Aretha. You know what I mean? She's earned it to kind of just keep singing over everybody else, I guess, because she's the queen, But I do understand how some people may not have thought that was the right thing to do, because even if Aretha is the undisputed Queen of Soul, there's a lot of other divas there that have also accomplished a lot in their musical careers. And it would be nice, I think, for some people's perspectives, to see them have their time of shining without somebody else still singing over them so that they can have their proper moments, and it really feel more ensemble.
And Aretha was definitely serving them up that night.
Looking out on the morning rain.
We did Natural Woman at the end of the show, and that's Aretha's song, and Aretha rightly, is the star of that song. But here we are on a stage full of divas, and Aretha's, as she will tend to do, God bless her, sort of taking over. And then the part where Celine was supposed to sing, here's Aretha still singing.
Want to tell you, yeah, life is so unkind, so key to my peace of mind. You make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural.
Celine definitely did her thing and held her own. I mean, she was amazing that night. And I mean, you're talking about the gospel church power of Aretha Franklin. I mean, one of the most legendary voices of all time. Celine definitely did her thing. She worked it out.
And I love Celine's attitude because she's got spunk, she's got fight. And she just got up there, and when Aretha sang the lick that Celine was supposed to do, Celine just got right up under her and answered her. And I just respected her so much for the classy way that she handled that situation.
But at the very end, Aretha decided to take us to church and started to sing gospel. She came and put her arm around me, and I blew out a few big Jesuses because she invited me to. It's like jazz. She was the band leader. You followed her. So the dueling diva had gone too far before, in my humble opinion.
Hold on. Okay. Hold on, Mariah. When she says because she invited me to, she did. If you watch the performance, Aretha says, help me lift him. And no one's really doing it. Like, no one really is coming forward. And she's looking around and she's like, will someone help me lift him? Will someone help me lift him? And the other girls are like, okay, this is great, And then you can tell Aretha's like, okay, let me go to Mariah. This is my girl. She puts her arm over her. So Mariah's like, she's not going to just sit there and be silent. I know Mariah wants to just let Aretha have her moment, but she's like, I let out a few Jesuses, because she invited her to. Mariah's not trying to steal a spotlight. She's going to go along with whatever Aretha is asking. But after she sings that part with Mariah, she turns to the rest of the girls and says, will you help me lift him? Help me lift him. And then that's when Celine comes out and answers. She answers the call. It was Aretha who, like she invited Mariah, she then invites any other girl to step up. And once Celine does and starts hitting that note and is way up there in her high mix, you see Aretha she starts celebrating, and she kind of does a little shimmy, a little, kind of does a little bounce over to her. It's a fun moment. So for Mariah to call her the dueling diva, it makes it seem like she thought this was some kind of a battle. Well, she does say that to upstage her, but I don't think that was what was going on in Celine's heart at all.
And appeared to try and outsing Aretha. That happened. I couldn't believe anyone would try and upstage Aretha Franklin on her tribute while singing about Jesus, no less. Maybe it was a big culture gap, but it seemed like sheer lunacy to me, and I wanted no part of it. As it was happening, my body began to involuntarily back up out of the diva lineup, and I headed to join the backup singers, most of whom I knew. It seemed like blasphemy to me, and I wanted to be out of striking distance should the lightning come. I was mortified, but of course Aretha didn't care. She had more skills, soul, and natural talent than all of us combined, and then multiplied.
Okay, I love you, Mariah. And I really am trying hard to see your perspective. And I think I'm getting there a little bit because, again, if you think someone is coming for your idol, that's how I am. If anyone insults Mariah or if anybody insults Celine, I'm going to be like, excuse me? Oh, we could do this. Or Michael Jackson or Britney Spears or Paula Abdul. I have my musical idols. I think we all do. And anytime somebody comes for them or does something to disrespect them, I take it personally. I'm just like, listen, you know? But if, by her own admission, Aretha was okay with it, then what's the problem? If anything, I think that Aretha respected Celine for it. Because when Aretha was looking for someone to step up, no one else did but Celine, to be honest. So if anything, Aretha was probably like, wow, this girl's got some fight. She's not afraid of me that way. And she was able to have this iconic moment that all of the fans are still talking about 20-something years later. If I was to be invited to sing with Celine or Mariah, I'm not sure anything would come out. So I don't know if this is how Mariah sees it, but this is how I would see it. I would be too afraid, too insecure, too intimidated to sing with my own idol. Because I know I don't have their abilities. Because that's why they're my idol, right? Because they're the next level. So I don't want to embarrass myself by trying to match them or sing with them or whatever, because I might get compared to them or something. I don't know if that's how Mariah views it. I really hope that she doesn't, because I would love to just be in her corner as her cheerleader saying, Mariah, you have nothing to worry about. You are Mariah Carey. There is no other singer on earth that has the range that you do, living or dead, that has ever walked the earth. And I would hope that Mariah understands that and knows it about herself. And singing live is a little bit different because you don't have your confidence all the time, you know, like, again, with the air conditioning, or maybe you're not in good voice or whatever it is. But, I mean, Mariah Carey is the best of the best, you know, with Celine, in my opinion. So for Mariah to say that Aretha had more talent than all of them combined and multiplied, I do feel like, again, she's really hammering this point in that she did not like what Celine did. I wonder why that is, because I don't think Mariah is a petty person. I feel like if you're going to release a memoir like this, you're going to make sure that for months or even years, you are going to be deciding what will make it and what will not make it into this kind of a book. So only the people that really inspired you and only the people that really hurt you should be in this book. You don't want to include something that is just in passing or something minor. And because I feel like the way that Mariah started this chapter and where she's gone with it and how long she's been talking about this, what Celine did with Aretha really got to her for some reason. And I would love to talk to Mariah about it. And I don't know that I feel like it's all here. I feel like she's talking about this situation in a way that leaves a lot more unanswered questions for me. I have always felt like Mariah Carey and Celine Dion should have been friends, or at least closer colleagues. Obviously, I'm reading Mariah's book, but I also have Celine's book, and they have a lot in common. Their relationship to their voice, their financial struggles, being somebody that always had their head in the clouds and being faulted for that, being mocked for being such a dreamer. They both married the man that basically gave them a career in music and allowed their dream to come true, and how that relationship has affected the rest of their lives. They both dominated the charts in the 90s and then ended up in the exact same Coliseum in Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. And now they are both still killing it in the music industry with very loyal, devoted fans that are rabid for them. They are two peas in different pods, and they are paralleled in their journeys. I so desperately want them to work together and to understand that they are not rivals, but they could be sisters because they have their own lane, but their lanes are running side by side. I think a duet between them would be what this music world really needs, because in my humble opinion, they are both the greatest singer that has ever walked the planet. I don't even really like pitting them against one another because I think they both individually deserve the title of the greatest singer of all time. And the fact that they're both still alive and that they're both still killing the game, I can't think of something that I would want more out of the music industry than for them to duet.
She had so much fun that night and tore it down. Later, I told the story to Patti LaBelle, godmother as I call her. She has given me good, seasoned advice and has literally held my hand through some tough situations. So when I called her and told her about the scene, she said, "Mariah, if you would have participated in that hoedown, I would have had to come and slap you in the face." Hopefully, the one lesson we all learned on that stage was RESPECT.
Yeah, I saw that when she told Andy Cohen basically the same story on Watch What Happens Live. So, I don't understand what the issue is. Aretha had fun that night, and so much so revered Celine that she specifically, her and the estate, asked Celine to be the one that performed at her tribute. I don't know if maybe that's... No, I don't think Mariah's that way to let something like that bother her. I don't think Mariah's petty that way, but there's some reason why she's including this in the memoir and writing about this at great lengths. I've listened to everything else so far that she's spoken about in her book, and she does call out people by name. Mariah will say, oh, I don't know her about the certain person that she doesn't know. But when it comes to everybody else, there might be someone who she'll say, it doesn't really matter who that person is because they're not a big part of the story. But she has not talked about anybody else in the book at this length without saying their name. So the reason that's, to me, sticking out, that Celine stands out in her book as the only person's name she does not mention when going in hard on this point that she wants to make about that Divas Live experience. And I'm really curious to know what that is about or why that is. But I'm choosing to believe that it's just a issue of perspective because Celine is very clear about how she experienced that night.
Aretha has given us a part of her soul. We can just give her titles and say, oh, the Queen of Soul, the Queen of Soul. But the Queen of Soul have been teaching us that what is soul is all about. No one in this world would ever be even close. She will be alive for the rest of eternity because every song that we've sang, that we've listened to, that we've watched her perform, she was so convincing. She felt it so much. Mm-hmm. It felt like she had given us a piece of her soul. Absolutely. So tonight, I felt extremely honored that would you come and honor Aretha. I was like, I really thought that when, I think it was in 98, when we did the Divas, we were all together, a lot of people on stage, and I had a line with her, and I said to myself, oh my God, that's going to be my line with her. Wow. So I kind of stepped out of my position because I was like, I don't want to just like, you make me feel. Yeah. No. She's right there. I'm going to step just a little closer. I want to feel her, and I want to feel her just a little more. I stepped out of my little cross on stage, and I went face to face with her, and I took that moment because I said, if I've been given this opportunity, I'm not going to miss on that. So I'm just like very humbled that they considered me. And my goal tonight was to please her.
You were talking about 1998, and that was the moment everyone's like, look at Celine taking mama to the vocal court, and you were killing it. Were you out of body on stage when you were with Aretha?
When you're close to Aretha, you're out of your brain. You're out of your body. You're out of your soul. You learn something. You learn about what is singing is all about, what is soul is all about, and what is a queen. That was Aretha. And it's still Aretha.
What did she say to you backstage?
Actually, we did not talk.
What?
No. No time to talk. Time to feel. Time to get down to business.
Right.
Time to say, I believe. We've been blessed.
Absolutely.
Oh no, she
Hallelujah.
was like hallelujah. She was like controlling. We were like, we did not flinch. We were tight. We were so
Scared
tight.
to death.
No, when I had my line, I knew which line I was going to sing with her.
Which one?
It was a Natural Woman, of course.
Yes.
Which line in particular, I don't remember. It's in '98. Give me a
It was
chance.
a while ago.
But it didn't matter which words. I came a little closer, and I faced her, and she came forward, and I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it."
Your little 11-year-old inside is like, come on, girl.
I was like, I cannot miss that moment.
No.
No, I took advantage of the situation, and I had my line with her, and God bless her soul, because everyone says the Queen of Soul, and it's true, but it's beyond that. She gave herself. She gave a little piece of her soul to everyone who respected her talent. That means the world. There will never be no one close to that. But what she gave to the singers, the meaningfulness about what is to reach down and sing.
Give it everything.
It's deeper than the vocal, the heart. It's only her can do it this way, huh? But we took everything we could from her, and her legacy. I think she left us something that will keep her alive for the rest of our lives.
I agree.
And the song I chose tonight, it's because she loved that song so much, and she loved Sam Cooke so much. She loved him, she loved the song, and for me it was like, I don't mind what song you propose, I ain't going for that.
Celine's
Ain't
got
go-
opinions, and
no,
you're going
but
here
ain't
today.
going for top 10. What are you talking about? Aretha top 10? Aretha top 100 gazillion.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. If she sang it, she meant it, it was worth it.
And you were honoring that tonight.
And because she loved him and she loved the song, the civil rights, and the message behind all this, I was like, I'm doing this. I'm doing this to her because she loves the song, period.
When you watch the show, if you look at the end of it, I was heading towards the backup singers because I felt that's where I belonged. Like when Aretha sings, you don't stand there and try to compete with the Queen of Soul. You revere her and don't be doing ad libs and trying to riff it on out with her. No.
I don't think she was trying to compete, though. I think if she just allowed Celine's perspective in, I think Mariah would say, oh, my bad. So you revere her the way that I do. She's also one of your idols, because she is. Aretha is one of Celine's inspirations too. And, sometimes we put ourselves in someone's shoes and we think, well, I would never do that. Well, that's okay though, because we're different. People are different and they handle reverence very differently. Funerals are different. Some people cry their eyes out. Some people are very silent. Some people get very withdrawn. Some people want to be left alone when they grieve. Some people don't want to be alone when they grieve. We all handle things differently. We all see things differently. And so in this moment, when they have an idol like Aretha Franklin on stage, you have two little girls growing up who loved Aretha, and they're just different. Mariah is very reverential, it's all you. You're the queen. I ain't gonna even try to be as an equal of you. And you have someone like Celine who sees it very different. I may never give this opportunity ever again. I would love to sing with her. She's one of my idols. I feel like I'm in good voice tonight. May I please? You're looking at me saying, help me lift him. Yes? How can I not? I will kick myself if I don't do this. For the rest of my life, I will regret this. That Aretha Franklin looked me in the eye, said, help me lift him, and I just sat this one out. I benched myself. Celine is the kind of person that's I would never forgive myself. Ever. And I have to feel that way too. When opportunity knocks, you have to take it. So I think that Celine was just a fangirl and dared to sing with her idol. And it gave us out of this world vocals that we are still talking about 20 years later. I really hope that Mariah lets that in and sees it that way and is happy for Celine and is like, girl, I was too intimidated to do that, but girl, you did it, kudos to you. I want them to be girlfriends and talk about it over popcorn and a movie night. That's how I am. I have friends that are fans of Celine and fans of Mariah, and we discuss, like, when we got to hang out with them, when we got to talk to them, and like, oh my god, you two, like, just enjoy your life because you both experience this same thing. And praise each other that somebody had the galls to do something that you never would have done in a million years because you were too intimidated. That's just how I see it. Just want everybody to get along. In closing, I still believe that Mariah loves Celine, and it's Mariah's dream, just like it is mine, to someday sing with Celine, because I know that Celine wants to. And so we still have to make this happen. And maybe this is the greatest opportunity for them to sing together, to prove that there is no bad blood, there is no beef. I mean, we saw what happened with Brandy and Monica, right? Like this misunderstanding that maybe there was like some beef between them is actually what kind of helped for them to come together and create the duet The Boy Is Mine, which is one of the greatest duet songs of all time. And so if that can be an example of two powerful women coming together and putting things to the side that never really were there or should have been there to begin with, then there is hope for, in my opinion, the two greatest vocalists that have ever walked the earth to come together and please drench this musical world out of the drought that we've been, because we seriously are in dire need of great vocals and great music in today's musical climate. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and smash that subscriber button. I have a lot of content here that I'm hoping that you're gonna like. I put my heart and soul into this. And drop a comment and let me know if you're a Mariah Carey fan, if you're a Celine Dion fan. Again, I'm asking you to be positive because these are two legendary queens that deserve our love and respect. We love you, Mariah. We love you, Celine. And I will see you all in the very next video. I love you. God bless you. And bye-bye.